It's been a hell of a Premier League weekend. Very big game at Anfield between Liverpool and Manchester City. A very big game also for Arsenal away to Leeds. And a lot of action, a lot of controversy as well. And it's a pleasure to welcome, as always on a Monday morning, John Giles and Liam Brady to talk about the games. Liam, let's start at Anfield, because these are probably the two best teams in England, arguably the two best teams in Europe when they're on song. I thought this was a thrilling match.
It was, particularly second half, Eamon. It went from end to end. Although Manchester City enjoyed much more the control of possession, Liverpool looked very, very dangerous. And you'd have to say Salah looked back to his best. And in defence, you think, I have to say that Gomez was very good after coming back from a long injury, but him and Van Dijk played very, very well. Van Dijk looked as if his concentration was, excellent. And Liverpool probably played their best game of the season, Eamon.
Yeah, I would agree with that. John, your impression of it? I mean, Liverpool have looked jaded and really not fully committed, not as intense as they can be for all the season, really. Yesterday, they were at it from the first minute, and it was a hell of a match.
It was. It was a terrific game. But you'd have to say, from Liverpool, I thought deserved to win the game. They played extremely well, Eamon.
Yeah.
And as you said, they were up for it.
Yes.
You'd have to say, why weren't they up for it for the rest of the matches?
Oh, no, absolutely.
You know what I mean, Eamon? You think that now they've got to continue. I mean, it's been their attitude that's let them down.
Yes.
The players that they have are excellent players, as we know, well-proven players. And they were really, really good, yes. They were back to their best because they were playing City.
Yeah, there's a point
to win the match.
There's a point that Liam made there that I strongly agree with about Gomez. Gomez has had 3 horrendous years. He had a terrible injury. He's had a series of injuries. He played against Rangers. He played as a fullback. He's a good defender. He's a good footballer. He was outstanding yesterday. And that sort of weakness that Trent Alexander-Arnold represents at right back was not there. And I thought Gomez was immense.
Well, he was, but he wouldn't be the reason for Liverpool playing as well yesterday as they haven't done all season. He's a very good player, but what I'm saying is Liverpool deserved to win the game yesterday. They played extremely well, probably back to where they were last season. But it was their attitude. It wasn't Gomez that made that much difference. It was their attitude to the game that got them where they were yesterday and deserved to win it. And, what they've got to do now is play with that attitude from now till the end of the season. Eamon. That attitude should never have dropped from Liverpool, because attitude is everything. You can't, terrific players, and they deserved to win the game yesterday. They were back to their best. That was because they were playing Manchester City. Now they've got to continue with their attitude.
Yeah. Liam, the point about Gomez is that, they gave 3 goals away at home to Brighton in their last home game. Goals that should never have been given away. And also yesterday, I'd like you and John to comment on this, Mo Salah played through the middle. There was a difference. Also, tactically, I know we don't go overboard about tactics here, but City, they played Phil Foden as a left wing back. And when, Milner was playing right back for Liverpool, Liam, I start by asking you about where Salah played.
Well, he played more or less down the middle, Eamon, didn't he?
Yeah.
And he was the Liverpool used the long ball. In fact, they scored from a long ball from the goalkeeper Alisson, who saw very, very brilliantly saw that there was a 1-on-1 with Cancelo.
Yeah.
City played very open, Eamon. They were. They took the game to Liverpool. As I say, they had over 60% of possession. They made some chances as well. But you have to say that they were, a little bit sloppy at the back. And in the end, it cost them. Let's not forget that Salah was in on goal,
yes,
about 10, 15 minutes before that. And Edison made a great save. The referee didn't see it. The referee gave a goal kick. I thought the referee was awful yesterday, Eamon.
He was terrible.
And they're asking for trouble, letting these obvious fouls go ahead, you know. They seem to want to let the game run, and they're getting into all sorts of problems. I thought he was terrible yesterday, the referee, Anthony Taylor, and he's got this reputation as being the best one around. Well, he was awful yesterday.
He was.
But to go back to the tactics, I thought City were very, very open at the back, you know, especially to a very quick counter-attack. Yes. And Liverpool won the game that way.
Yeah, John, that point about the referee, I must say I agree with Liam. And there's also something that's been bugging me about the goal that City had disallowed. Now, Fabinho was fouled by Haaland. He did pull his jersey. It looked worse in slow motion. In real time, I didn't really notice it too much. Is it right, John, do you think, to go back that far to identify a foul in the build-up? And do you think, therefore, Pep Guardiola had some reason to be aggrieved with that goal was chalked off?
Yeah, I think so, Eamon. And we would go back to VAR again. You know, it's like you're going to have to live with it, Eamon. You know, you like when it goes your way, like in Klopp's case, Klopp didn't complain about it yesterday, just as all the managers don't, and Guardiola did. And if it had been vice versa, you wouldn't have heard a word from Guardiola.
I thought Guardiola was right, John. And I wanted Liverpool to win. I'm a Liverpool fan. But I actually think if the referee didn't spot it that early in the move, you're going back a long way. A lot of things happened after that.
Not going back a long way, Eamon. Hang on a minute. You know, the ball. He pulled Fabinho over. Fabinho had the ball. He pulled him over by the shirt. First of all, he pushed him. Then he pulled him over, Haaland did. Then it broke to, I think it was one of the City players. It might have been Bernardo Silva. He gave the ball to Haaland, a through ball, and he was in on goal. It was only seconds before, Eamon.
Right, okay, okay.
And you know, I thought it was an obvious foul in real time.
Right.
Fabinho had the ball, and your man just pulled him over. You know, this is what I'm saying to you. They're letting the game go. They seem to have this kind of attitude now. Let the game go. The players are acting. The players are diving like that. We let the game go. But they're making ridiculous errors. They're making stupid errors.
Yeah, I think. Can I say something there? It goes back to last year, last season, mostly Liam, where he was saying there's a lot of goals not being given, so the goals tally is going down. So I think they readjusted the rules to let goals happen, Liam. Do you know what I mean?
I agree with you,
In other words,
you want to make the game more exciting, more open.
But it's wrong. I mean, it's either a foul or it's not a foul. You know, I thought it was a foul on the lead up to the goal, but when it went in, and they are coming back to situations like that, which is a long way back to compare to where it was. Yes. In other words, if the referee let it go, he should be letting it go because he thinks it's not a foul.
Yes, exactly.
Not to create more goals, and that's where we got mixed up a lot anyway with VAR. We're getting more mixed up with that now. Do you know what I mean? We shouldn't even be discussing. It was either a foul or it wasn't a foul.
Right. Well, let me remind both of you, I'm sure you saw it, when Liverpool 1-0 up, with about 10 minutes to go, I mean, Mo Salah was manhandled. A policeman would have arrested the Manchester City defender. The referee was standing there looking at it. This is when Klopp got his red card. It was crazy stuff. And I totally agree with Liam, and I know you agree as well, John. They have to apply the rules of the game. If you commit a foul, then it has to be a foul. And we're in that area now where we don't know, do we?
No, well, you know, do we go back to where it was a foul? Should the referee have given it in the first place? It's complicated enough. VAR is complicated enough, as it is, without them bringing in rules here and there to make it even more complicated. Yeah. You know, that's the way I see it. But just to go back to the game itself, Eamon, with City, I think, you know, City do not defend well.
No.
Anyway, I think the policy is that we go, and everybody goes. If you're a right back or you're a left back, you go and you go and you go. Now, against most of the teams, that's okay. They can't take advantage of it. But I mean, the situation yesterday, really from the defensive angle from City was outrageous.
Yeah, I thought it was.
You made the point early on, you and Liam, that Salah was through before he scored a goal.
He was, yeah.
Right? He was one-on-one. Don't forget, City were in Liverpool's box.
Yes.
When the goalkeeper got the ball and hit a long ball. So there was nobody defending.
No.
You'd one player back, holding on to marking one player, in Salah's case, and he made a mess of it. But there should have been at least two players back in that situation.
Yeah.
So in most of the games that City play, obviously the emphasis on Pep, and he's very, very successful in what he does. But I think when you come against the better teams, like Liverpool were the better team yesterday, you have to defend. You can't have everybody going forward. And Salah got through once, then he gets through from a goal kick from the goalkeeper.
Yeah.
So City will pay the price. I think when City play against the better teams, they're more likely to pay the price. But they have outstanding players, we know. But you have to defend at some stage in the game.
Yeah. Liam, just in terms of the league table, your club Arsenal are top 4 points, clear of City and Spurs, who are also on 23 points. This result, Liam, keeps the dream alive, if you like, for a lot of clubs, doesn't it? I mean, in my own mind, I thought City were certainty. With Haaland playing the way he is, that was the sort of the tin hat on it for everyone else. That these guys are gonna become unbeatable. But yesterday's result raises the questions that John's just asked there about their ability to defend.
Yeah, well, I think I said last week it's too early to say it's over, Eamon, because we've got a World Cup right in the middle of the season. Who knows, what effect that's going to have on the players, particularly at Manchester City, where the whole team, apart from Haaland, I think will be at the World Cup. So there's lots of question marks. Liverpool are a long way back, but it gives them hope now. And as John says, that might fix their attitude. Their attitude hasn't been right up till now, but it was right yesterday, and it showed, what kind of results you can get when your attitude is right. So Liverpool, I think, have got West Ham during the week, and I think it might be Notts Forest at the end of the week. So they could have 9 points, 3 wins in a row, and bring them back into it. But certainly for Arsenal, it was a very good result. To have that 4-point gap is great, and all Arsenal fans, I'm sure, were cheering Liverpool on yesterday.
Yeah, John, Leeds losing 1-0 at home to Arsenal. A good goal, a really outstanding goal by Saka, who looks a real good player and looks sure to be in the England team, I would think, for the World Cup. But for Leeds, it was a bad result, and they're down there among the dead men at the moment. What's your take on them? Because they have a lot of fans here. Are they going anywhere?
Well, they seemed a little bit unlucky, Eamon. I think they're going to be what they are. They're going to be an inconsistent team. Because when they're attacking, Eamon. Everything goes into it.
Yeah.
Like last week, we saw them against Crystal Palace, and they were brilliant for the first 20 minutes. And I think what he expects of them to be go for 90 minutes.
Yeah.
And that's very, very difficult to do.
Yeah.
So I think if they're not scoring when they're attacking, they lose goals, because I think they'll run out of steam to be able to do what they want to do for the 90 minutes. So there'll be an inconsistency about them. Very much so. I think when they're attacking, they need to score goals. They missed a penalty yesterday. Bamford missed a penalty.
Yes.
Arsenal scored a really good goal. But they looked, I only saw the highlights, as if they were a little bit unlucky.
Now, John, the job that Mikel Arteta has done at Arsenal, it seems to, Liam obviously knows far better than both of us, because he would have a more educated point of view. He's seen the team more than we have. It seems to me he's done a really good job. He's got guys like Thomas Partey playing well. Gabriel is a standout accident waiting to happen in the back four, admittedly. Martinelli good. Jesus has done really well there. And even our old friend Xhaka is behaving himself, although that won't last.
Yeah.
Are they worthy contenders, John?
I don't think they'll last the pace, Eamon, but a huge improvement by Arteta, as you say. These young lads are coming through. I don't think they'll win it. He's doing a really, really good job. so far. I mean, you mentioned Gabriel there. That's the only bad point or doubtful point that I see there. He was involved in it again yesterday. Could have been a penalty in the last kick of the game. He's got to get control of him or get somebody in that's going to be in control of the situation. But he's done a really good job, and the young players who's come in have been very, very good.
Liam, how optimistic are you? I mean, I don't think it would be reasonable to expect them to win the Premier League with City, Chelsea chasing them in particular, who's clubs that have spent more money, frankly. But he has introduced some good young players, Martinelli and Saka being obvious examples.
Yeah, they have a very young team, one of the youngest in the Premiership, Eamon, and he's created a very good team spirit. But it has taken him a good 2.5 years to get there, with this so-called plan, and he's had some ups and downs along the way. I think getting rid of Aubameyang was a big statement, what he did last year. It might have cost them a lot of people were critical of it because it might have cost them the Champions League last year because they just missed out on qualifying. Spurs jumped in front of them at the very end, and Arsenal didn't have anyone to score goals in those last few matches. Aubameyang was sidelined or sent off to Barcelona. And a lot of people were critical, but it seems to have worked for Arteta in the end, Eamon, because he has created this team spirit. But I'd have to agree with John, having watched the highlights myself as well. Arsenal got away with it yesterday. Leeds were very, very good. They played that high-pressure game. They didn't give the Arsenal players any time on the ball, and Arsenal were making all sorts of mistakes and getting themselves into trouble. And Leeds could have very easily won the game. So it was a very good goal by Saka that was the difference. But you'd have to say that Leeds were very, very unlucky yesterday, and Arsenal were fortunate.
Just on Saka, Liam, how good can he become?
Well, I think he's got football intelligence as well, which is a great thing. Normally, sometimes a winger is an instinctive player. But this lad can look up and pick people out. He can combine with other players. And you saw the goal yesterday. He's obviously got this little understanding with Odegaard, that he's on the last line of defence up against his fullback, and he knows that Odegaard can just slip him inside, and he's ready to go, and he's got that quick burst of pace. And he has tried that shot a few times. It hasn't worked out recently, trying to squeeze it in at the near post. But it worked for him yesterday with his right foot. So the kid is improving all the time. You'd have to say he's a player that's going to be around at the top level for many, many years.
Now, John, Aston Villa, Chelsea. It looks like Villa could be in a bit of bother. They're just above the cut line, fifth from the bottom. Stevie Gerrard, obviously a high-profile manager, did a really good job at Rangers. And I know you watched this match, and you weren't too impressed with Chelsea, even though they won it.
No, I wasn't impressed with them at all, Eamon. I thought they were lucky to get away with it. I thought Villa were very, very unlucky, having played the way they played, to lose the game the way they did. I wasn't impressed with Chelsea at all yesterday, and that might sound odd because I know they won 2-0. But I was impressed with Villa, actually. Villa were a little bit unlucky in the way they played and the general run of the match for the 90 minutes time, and the goalkeeper let them down. Well, Mings made a big mistake very early in the game, and the goalkeeper didn't do very well for a free kick. So, I think he's going the right way, Gerrard. Things are not going for him at the moment, in my opinion. And things certainly went for Chelsea yesterday. I wasn't impressed with Chelsea at all yesterday, to be honest.
Yeah, Liam, it's strange what Chelsea are doing. They have this very hands-on owner who wants to make calls about transfers and all of that stuff. And yet they have good players, including our friend Aubameyang, who started against Villa on Saturday. Are they contenders?
They have to find solve the problem. Potter has to solve the problem of the forward line, Eamon. We've had this forward line situation for the last 3 or 4 seasons. Tuchel wasn't able to do it, was he?
No.
To they get goals from the forward line. That's what's really let them down. And they have a Aubameyang now, but I think that's a short-term fix. He's also got a poor attitude. You wonder what's going to happen there. Havertz really hasn't done it. They brought Werner over from Germany, but he was paid a huge amount of money. He didn't do it. It's a situation that Potter has to solve. But,
Raheem Sterling is another guy who's been a prolific scorer at times, but he hasn't done it either.
No, and he wasn't playing yesterday. He made a few changes. They're going to miss the full-back game, and he's out for 8 weeks.
Yeah, very, very good. Yeah,
Reece, he's an excellent full-back. That's a blow for England as well in the World Cup if he doesn't recover. But Potter's made a very good start. But again, I got back to agreeing totally with John. I thought Villa played very, very well. Very unlucky on the day. And if the manager or if the owners know anything about football, you would say, well, Steven Gerrard shouldn't lose his job when his team is playing like that, because if you keep playing like that, results will come torn.
Now, John, Manchester United 0, Newcastle United 0. Ronaldo started the game and they couldn't get the ball in the back of the net. And Newcastle were value for their, I didn't see the game, but they were apparently good value for their draw. And United are sort of chugging along there. I think they're fifth in the table. But I haven't really seen any sign that Ten Hag is the answer as far as coaching is concerned.
Not so far anyway, Eamon. Newcastle were good. Apparently, I think Newcastle's defensive record is excellent, Eamon. They're not giving many goals away. And they're very, very well organised yesterday. I only saw the highlights, but it looked like they deserved a draw from the game. Ronaldo was subbed again at about 15 because he wasn't very happy coming off, shaking his head and doing all sorts of things.
He shook his head. I thought it was going to fall off. He shook it for so long.
And he kept it going up in the stand as well. Yeah. I can understand it, Eamon. I mean, there's 15 minutes ago. He's the best man, still the best man to get a goal for them.
Absolutely.
No doubt about that, But United were okay. But, you'd have to say in Eddie Howe's case, I know he's probably been in the job a bit longer than Van Gaal, but he seems to be doing a better job at Newcastle than Van Gaal is doing at Manchester United at the moment.
Yeah, Liam, I saw United against a Cypriot team managed by Neil Lennon. They'd never won anything anywhere, and United scored in overtime, the winning goal in overtime, and they looked awful, United.
Well, I didn't see that game, Eamon. I'm just on the highlights. Talking about them against Newcastle, as John said, Newcastle were quite comfortable getting their draw. It's a good result to go to Old Trafford and get a draw. But United, there's got to be a huge question mark over whether they'll even get into the Champions League. It's early days yet, and you've got to give a manager time. Look what's happened at Arsenal with Arteta.
Yes,
this is the third season, so. All credit to Arsenal for giving the guy time. This Ten Hag, he's obviously learning about the Premiership. He's learning about his squad. He inherited all sorts of problems with Ronaldo, and and he's got to sort out the midfield. Fred is still playing. He's brought Casemiro in. I think you've got to give him time, but. Being Manchester United, they would expect, with the money they've spent, they would expect to be in the Champions League this season. But I think that's not by any means certain, Eamon.
No, I agree. In fact, I don't think they will be myself. John, Tottenham Hotspur 2-0. I watched that game.
Yeah.
Everton, I really feel sorry for Frank Lampard. They were it took Tottenham an hour to break them down. Harry Kane scored a penalty, actually. But they're not great Spurs, but they're not going to give many easy goals away. I mean, he has them playing at home as if they were the away team and nicking a result. And they nicked the result in this game. You'd feel sorry for Frank Lampard. Everton don't look like they have enough to stay up. Although, where are they? They're 6th from the bottom, 7th from the bottom at the moment.
Yeah. Well, they had a couple of chances early on, Everton, and didn't take them.
Yes.
And, from then on, Spurs dominated. Spurs were good again, Eamon. They're very professional in what they do. He doesn't have spectacular players. Well, up front he does, but generally in the midfield and the back. But they're very, very well organised. Don't give much away. And as I say, Everton had a couple of chances early on. They didn't take them. Spurs well deserved to win. Look, towards the end, they look good.
Yeah.
Pickford slipped up for the penalty. Let the ball slip, and Harry Kane scored a penalty. And from then on, Spurs were well in control. They looked impressive again. After giving a couple of chances away early on, they looked very, very good.
Yeah, Liam, there'll be huge interest in North London, of course, because of the rivalry between Spurs and Arsenal, and it's very real, that rivalry. He's doing a real good job without having the checkbook that you'd need to be winning the Premier League, but it's so classically Italian to my eye. He's not worried if it's 0-0 and they're at home. They just keep doing their stuff, and he knows that maybe Kane or maybe Son will chip in with a goal. And he was happy out on Saturday, although they didn't play dazzling football.
I thought they were very good second half, when I watched the game. Everton had a right good couple of chances in the first half, particularly with Gray. But I thought once they come out second half Spurs, they were a different outfit. They really, really went about the game well, and they dominated Everton. As John said, Pickford made a mistake to give the penalty away, and Harry Kane put it away, and they played very well, and I think that's why Conte was delighted, because I think he's been getting a bit of stick about the style of play, particularly when they don't get results, and the Spurs supporters, they have this going back many, many years that they want to play with style, you know. And maybe this season they haven't had that. But I have to say, the second half yesterday, I thought Spurs were very, very entertaining, very good, played a lot of really good football. And I think that's why Conte was a very happy bunny on the sideline. They look as if they're going to push, all the way anybody at the top of the table, I think, because they can get results playing indifferently. He as you say, he tries to hit teams on the counter-attack. It'll be interesting when Spurs come up against the very best of teams. They failed against Arsenal. We'll have to see them against Man City soon.
Just a final question, Liam, about Manchester City and their prospects for winning the Premier League, which I think are very, very strong. Jurgen Klopp at his press conference on Friday had a go at them, saying, well, we've just got a football club and normal owners. They're owned by a government. They can buy whoever they want. It's not a fair contest. I think Pep Guardiola was very offended by that and quite angry. But it, as a motivator for Liverpool, it certainly worked.
That's the truth as well, I don't know what Guardiola's getting upset about it, because it's the truth. Arsene Wenger pointed this out about 6 or 7 years ago.
He did.
So, but they are hot favourites to win it. They'd be kicking themselves that they didn't draw that match yesterday. It was down to an individual error. And,
he did really well, Liam, Salah. When that ball was played, even though Cancelo was poor, he still had to control it with just 3 touches, controlled it with his right foot, but just took enough pace off it.
He used his body just to nudge Cancelo off the ball, and then he was away. And it was funny because you could see De Bruyne chasing back, and he on his face, he knows Salah's going to score because he was very lucky not to have scored 10 minutes before that. The keeper made a one save, and Anthony Taylor gave a goal kick. But he wasn't going to miss this time, was he? And he just lifted it a little bit higher than he did before, and he turned out to be a great goal and a great winner, and it ended City's unbeaten run, Eamon. There's no longer any team in the Premiership that haven't been beaten. Right. And once again, we've had a great weekend's football.
Okay, Liam and John, thank you both very much for joining us. That's Liam Brady and John Giles, 2 great players, of course, and 2 great judges.